Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to this TEW 2020 WWE special preview show for the Showcase of the Immortals WrestleMania 38. The two-night event, absolutely stacked cards, and then this little special preview show just going to be going over 8 of the matches. They have the big feuds, 4 on each night, and just going over how we got here, just an in-depth look of how these matches came to be, how we got here to WrestleMania, just to, something to start with if you want to go right in at WrestleMania, or something to refresh your memory before WrestleMania. Either way, a little thing I thought I'd do, and let's just get into it. Starting on night 1 with a massive blood feud between Angel Garza and Edge in what will be a Hell in a Cell match. These two, we have to go back, first of all, to WrestleMania 37. A great WrestleMania for both of them. WrestleMania 37 kicked off with Angel Garza winning the Cruiserweight Championship, defeating Finn Balor and John Morrison to keep a hold of his title. And then on night 2, it kicked off with him defeating Andrade to win the Defiant Championship at the time. Defiant, the promotion that was set up before NXT was moved up to be like a third brand. Whilst WrestleMania, of course, ended with Edge's WWE title victory over Randy Orton. Now, whilst Garza's fun quickly dissipated, him vacating the Cruiserweight title to focus entirely on his NXT title match with Karrion Kross, which he would go on to lose. Edge had a great time as WWE champ, running through some of the greatest superstars available to him, like AJ Styles and Seth Rollins, matches with Jeff Hardy and John Cena again. Whilst Angel Garza sat on the sidelines until King of the Ring came, where Garza won NXT's bracket and then he went on to win the whole damn thing. Angel Garza, King of the Ring, a guaranteed world title match at SummerSlam, and he wanted the world title. He wanted Edge for that WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And Edge, respect for Garza, but Edge saying he wasn't ready to lose the WWE title, and he didn't know what would happen if he did lose it. And at SummerSlam, we found out when Angel Garza did it, he overcame Edge, the Hall of Famer, and won the WWE title for the first time in his career. He celebrated. He was so happy until he turned around into a spear from Edge. As Edge kneeled over Garza, running his hand through his hair, that crazed expression on his face. He said he didn't know what would happen if he lost the WWE title, and we found out he would snap, getting the chairs and taking Garza out of a concerto, leaving him laying lifeless in the ring, allowing Adam Cole, who had been taunting Edge for months about cashing in on him, to win the WWE title. Angel Garza winning and losing the WWE title in a matter of moments, really. Now, Edge would take a little bit of time off, but returned a month later at bragging rights, attacking Adam Cole in the world title Battle of the Brands match, setting up their match, Edge versus Adam Cole on Raw, which ended in disqualification when Angel Garza ran in and attacked Edge. Edge's opportunity to win back the WWE title, gone. And now Angel Garza not medically cleared to compete, but he wanted this match with Edge so bad that he demanded it. So Extreme Rules, it was unsanctioned. Edge and Angel Garza, and Angel Garza weakened. Angel Garza not medically cleared. Edge walked away victorious on that occasion. Angel Garza took proper time off, whilst Edge waited for his opportunity. Edge wanted that WWE title back, and he saw his path come the Royal Rumble, entering and doing really well, getting really far, until at number 30, Angel Garza returned, medically cleared, and with one thing on his mind, running to the ring and eliminating Edge on his way to finishing second in the Royal Rumble. And these two circled each other. These two way at an elimination chamber, they had a face-to-face, where it was agreed, WrestleMania, Edge versus Angel Garza, Hell in a Cell, to finish this once and for all. The only stipulation Drake Maverick put on it was that the match would be cancelled, and the two he would make sure would never face each other again if they laid a hand on each other till the event, which they have avoided. They have not laid a hand on each other, and until that bell rings, they will not. But when they do, it will be inside Hell in a Cell on the grandest stage of them all. Can Angel Garza beat Edge again? Will Edge get his retribution? Who will come out on top when this bitter feud finally ends? Next up on night 1, we have the Universal Championship up for grabs when Thaddeus Bullard takes on Keith Lee. And we all go all the way back to July 2020 when Titus O'Neil at the time had enough, announced he was changing his name to Thaddeus Bullard, saying Titus O'Neil's a joke and Thaddeus Bullard is going to get what I've always wanted, success. And he quickly won the 24/7 title, and he held it all the way till September, showing complete dominance with Mark Henry as his manager until Survivor Series, where Mark Henry was found laid out and Thaddeus Bullard aligned with Paul Heyman on his way to winning the Intercontinental Championship. The next night on Raw, he would toss the 24/7 title in the trash. It was beneath him, and he was the Intercontinental Champion, always would be. And he went on to have a great reign of dominance, defeating Big Show, defeating the Kane, beating Braun Strowman, these big guys, some of these legendary guys. And he annoyed the wrong person with his attacks of Big Show and Kane when The Undertaker arrived at the Royal Rumble, chokeslamming him through the announcer's table, eventually leading to WrestleMania 37 in a casket match for the Intercontinental title, The Undertaker versus Thaddeus Bullard. And at WrestleMania, Thaddeus Bullard would put The Undertaker away, putting him in the casket on his way to defeating the dead man on the grandest stage. While Thaddeus Bullard had shown his dominance in the greatest way possible, beating The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Whilst Keith Lee also competed at WrestleMania 37, winning the Internet title from Defiant against AJ Styles at the event, quickly vacating it and going on to win the North American title over on NXT. Whilst Thaddeus Bullard and Keith Lee kind of at the same time with their mid-card championships, holding them, remaining unpinned, remaining unsubmitted. And Thaddeus Bullard was making it clear himself for months leading up to Survivor Series. At Survivor Series, I will vacate this Intercontinental title, I will activate Option C, and I will win the Universal Championship. Now, before Survivor Series, there was bragging rights. The triple threat match between the mid-card champs, Keith Lee, Kyle O'Reilly, and Thaddeus Bullard, where Keith Lee came out on top, pinning Kyle O'Reilly, much to the chagrin of Thaddeus Bullard. Thaddeus Bullard not used to being on the losing side anymore, but defeated here by Keith Lee. Not pinned, not submitted, but Keith Lee getting the win. The two staying separate on their separate bands. Thaddeus Bullard making the Bullard brand his group with Paul Heyman, Socrates Torres, Alfonso Bourbon, LA Knight, Cameron Grimes, and Apollo Crews. Whilst Keith Lee would go on to lose the North American title to Chad Gable a month before Survivor Series, Thaddeus Bullard kept his Intercontinental all the way to the event, vacating it on his way to defeating Big E on something we'll touch on later, on his way to winning the Universal Championship. Now, after Survivor Series, we had the draft, where Keith Lee was drafted to Friday Night SmackDown, and he made it clear right from the start he wanted Thaddeus Bullard, but Bullard said no. And so Keith Lee focused on the other members of the Bullard brand. He beat Knight, he beat Crews, he beat Grimes, he beat Torres, but Bullard stayed away from him, which led to the Royal Rumble, where Keith Lee entered and Keith Lee was doing amazing. And Keith Lee got down to the final three, I think, eliminated Crews, eliminated Knight, when Thaddeus Bullard stormed into the ring from behind and a Bullard booted Lee over the ropes and out. Bullard eliminating Lee, costing him his chance to fight Bullard at WrestleMania. But Keith Lee kept going, all the way to Elimination Chamber, where it came down to two men, Keith Lee and the 16-time world champion John Cena. The winner would fight Bullard at WrestleMania, and in the end, Keith Lee pinned John Cena, one of the biggest wins of his career, meaning at WrestleMania it would be Thaddeus Bullard versus Keith Lee for the Universal title. There was no more running for Bullard. He would have Lee one-on-one, and in this battle of the Titans, which of these men will leave WrestleMania 38 with the WWE Universal Championship? Can Bullard's reign of dominance continue, or will Keith Lee win his first ever World Championship? We will have to wait and see, but I cannot wait to see this match. It's been a great feud. I'm looking forward to see how it ends. Next up, on the black and gold brand, we had the NXT Championship match between Chad Gable and Randy Orton, and we go back to Royal Rumble 2021 to the start of this, and it was the WWE title on the line on that occasion. Randy Orton defeating Chad Gable, and now this Randy Orton, this was Vicious Orton. This was heel, legend, killer, Viper, Apex Predator Randy Orton, and he beat Chad Gable. But after the match, he didn't attack Gable. He didn't show disrespect. He got down, he shook Gable's hand, and he whispered something in his ear. We don't know what, but he whispered something. And we go on to WrestleMania. Two very different nights for the two men. Chad Gable defeating Cesaro to win the European title, bringing back the US title in the process, and Randy Orton losing in the main event to Edge for the WWE Championship. Whilst Gable would be on Raw, issuing a US Open challenge, fighting whoever wanted him for that United States title, before eventually going on to lose it months later to Kyle O'Reilly, and one of his challengers, Orton, would eventually go to NXT, challenging Karrion Kross to a match at SummerSlam, where Karrion Kross would come out on top, defeating Randy Orton, a massive win for Karrion Kross in his own regard. And after the match, Karrion Kross continuing the attack of Randy Orton. Randy Orton, who had only returned to NXT to help John Cena, to save him from a Kross beatdown a month prior at Super Showdown. Now, Karrion Kross attacking Randy Orton, choking him out when Chad Gable's music hit and he stormed out to the ring, confronting Karrion Kross, and Karrion Kross wasn't too impressed, laughing at Gable, as much to say as this, are you going to stop me? Really? And 2 weeks later on NXT, the two men were faced for the NXT Championship, and Karrion Kross would come out on top, defeating Chad Gable on this occasion, but Orton was grateful to Gable. He thanked him for helping him save him, but said that that was not his best, and Orton offered to train Gable, so the two men became training partners. Orton would mentor Gable, teach him what he knew from years in the business, and their partnership paid off at bragging rights when Team NXT, their men's team, won the bragging rights 5v5v5, with those two as the final two men in the match. Now we go to Extreme Rules next. Whilst Chad Gable was defeating Keith Lee to win the NXT North American Championship, Randy Orton was defeated in a Hell in a Cell match by Karrion Kross for the NXT title. And after the match though, Chad Gable would storm out to the ring and confront Kross, making it clear that he was planning to activate Option C for a match for the NXT title at Survivor Series, which in the end ended with an RKO from Chad Gable, as Chad Gable finally overcame Karrion Kross to win the NXT Championship. After the match, Orton would raise Gable's hand before leaving him in the ring to celebrate, soaking in the moment, black and gold confetti raining down. Chad Gable was on top of the world. And the next month, War Games, Gable would fight Seth Rollins for the belt, Chad Gable overcoming the odds, whilst Orton would fight Thatcher, and Thatcher would put Orton on the shelf for a bit, leading to the Rumble, where it was Chad Gable versus Thatcher, and Chad Gable overcame Thatcher for the victory. Now we eventually find our way to Elimination Chamber. Randy Orton in the NXT Championship Elimination Chamber match. Chad Gable telling Orton he wants him to win. He wants this match, and Orton would go on to claim victory and earn an NXT title match at WrestleMania. But Gable made it clear he doesn't want the Randy Orton that's been around. The Randy Orton that couldn't beat Karrion Kross. He doesn't want that. He wants the real Randy Orton, the legend, the Apex Predator, the Viper. He wants the greatest of all time, the 14-time world champion Randy Orton at WrestleMania, because Gable says that that is the only Randy Orton he needs to beat to prove he's got what it takes. He's saying that defeating that Randy Orton means something, defeating this Randy Orton doesn't. And so Orton promises WrestleMania, it will be the best Randy Orton you've ever seen. And will he win his first NXT title, or can Chad Gable finally overcome Randy Orton and retain his NXT Championship? Before finally on night one in the main event for the Women's Universal title, we have Shayna Baszler defending against the Women's Royal Rumble winner, Ronda Rousey. Now we go back to October-November, where Shayna Baszler made her return, defeating Bianca Belair at Halloween Havoc to win the $1 million title, before activating her option C at Survivor Series to defeat Rhea Ripley to win the Women's Universal Championship. Now, during her Women's Universal title reign, Shayna would reunite No Mercy, her little stable she has, with Taynara Conti and Sonya Deville. And Shayna would hold her championship. She would prove dominant. It looked like no one could stop her. And then we get to the Rumble, where Ronda Rousey returns at number 30 and wins it, earning herself a women's title match at WrestleMania. Shayna, very happy to see Ronda, her four-horsewoman of MMA teammate, saying that Ronda can win the women's world title, the NXT women's title, and then they'll have both of these big titles when she joins No Mercy with them. And we get to Judgment Day, where Ronda Rousey announces at WrestleMania she would challenge Shayna Baszler, Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir, the other members of the Four Horsewomen of MMA, aligning with Ronda. Big fight between No Mercy and them, leading to Elimination Chamber 4v4. Those teams, Deonna with Shayna's team and Bianca Belair with Ronda's team. Bianca, Ronda's team, getting the victory on that occasion, leading us to this. WrestleMania, Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey, former friends, former partners, but now fighting on the grandest stage in the main event for the Women's Universal Championship. Can Ronda Rousey do it? 3 years away though from Ronda. Will the rustiness of it all, will the spotlight she struggle, or can Shayna keep hold of her gold and make Ronda Rousey tap out, or will Ronda get the title? We'll have to wait and see, but night one absolutely stacked. So many more amazing matches to see on night one. I can't wait to see what happens. But so too is night two, and we're starting this off with a massive match for the United States Championship. Xavier was defending against Big E and Kofi Kingston. Yes, the New Day triple threat, but how did we get to here? We go back to Elimination Chamber 2021, where in the main event, it was the New Day versus the Bloodline in a 3v3 Elimination Chamber match, where if the New Day won, Big E would get into the main event of WrestleMania for the Universal Championship, and the New Day would win, leading to WrestleMania when the New Day would walk away with all the gold. Big E winning the Universal title, Kofi and Woods winning the SmackDown Tag Team titles, New Day on top of the world to end WrestleMania. But the New Day had their problems. They lost the tag title in about a month to DIY with Kofi being pinned, and they had numerous opportunities to get them back over the months preceding and after, but Kofi would be pinned every time, whilst Big E would reign as the Universal Champion, holding the title, beating Lashley, beating Strowman, beating Roman. Big E proving he can go at the top, leading towards Survivor Series, where Big E says the man who deserved the Universal title match was Kofi Kingston, who never got his fair rematch with Brock Lesnar. He said he wanted Kofi, and Kofi earned it, leading to Survivor Series, Big E versus Kofi Kingston for the Universal title, Big E coming out on top. And then we get to bragging rights. Big E, Karrion Kross and Adam Cole in their triple threat match between the world champions, and at bragging rights, a masked man would smash a lead pipe into Big E's back, which led to Karrion Kross submitting him for the victory. And Big E was incessant with rage. He wanted to know who this masked man was, but no one stepped forward, so he just went on with his business. Until we get to Survivor Series. Big E versus Thaddeus Bullard for the Universal title. Well, when the ref was distracted, that masked man with the lead pipe would strike again, taking out Big E, and leading to Bullard pinning him and winning the Universal title. Big E cost the Universal Championship by that masked man, and this made Big E even angrier. And then we get to Armageddon. Armageddon, a night of two stories for the New Day. We had Xavier Woods versus Kofi Kingston for the United States Championship. And whilst Woods was down and the ref was checking him in, the masked man with the lead pipe smashed it into Kingston's back, taking him down before rushing out. Woods not seeing this, getting in the ring and pinning Kofi to win the United States title. Whilst later in the night, Big E looked to win back the Universal Championship against Thaddeus Bullard. Xavier Woods with United States title in hands at ringside for him to stop any interference from the masked man, who would make an appearance. Big E standing across the ring from the masked man, who took off his mask and revealed himself to be Mustafa Ali. Big E in shock, and so in shock he didn't notice as Xavier Woods smashed the United States Championship straight into his face, leading to Thaddeus Bullard pinning Big E to retain his Universal title. Xavier would explain his actions, says he was tired of living in the shadow, saying Kofi had his moment and E had his moment, but what about Xavier's moment? What about at Survivor Series? Why did Kofi Kingston deserve a Universal title match and not me? Kofi's had his shot at the top. I never have, and so I am taking it. Holding the United States title. At the Rumble, we'd have a four-way tag match for the vacant SmackDown tag titles. Xavier Woods teaming with Ali, Big E teaming with Kingston, also with the Usos and Torres and Knight. And in the end, Big E and Kofi so distracted with Woods and their anger for him, they were pinned by the Usos on the Usos' way to winning the SmackDown tag titles. We get to Elimination Chamber for the United States title. Xavier Woods versus Big E, and Xavier Woods happy to lose that match from DQ with a big low blow, taking out Big E. Big E getting the win but not winning the title. Kofi making a save. On our way to this match, a tag team match was set up. Woods and Ali versus Big E and Kingston. If Woods and Ali win, Woods can pick his Mania opponent. Big E and Kingston win, we get the triple threat. And as you can see, Big E and Kofi Kingston got the victory. Meaning at WrestleMania 38, it will be Xavier Woods versus Big E versus Kofi Kingston for the United States title. The New Day triple threat. Who will come out on top? Which member of the group formerly known as the New Day will get the victory and walk out with the US title? We'll have to wait and see, as then we head into another massive match at WrestleMania. No titles on the line, only respect and only the title of the Tribal Chief. Roman Reigns versus The Rock. And we go back. Roman Reigns out of control post WrestleMania 37. Couldn't win the Universal title and didn't like it. He was out of control, and in the end, The Rock decided he had to intervene to stop his cousin, costing him a match against Montez Ford back in August. And Roman Reigns wanted The Rock to acknowledge him as the Tribal Chief, but The Rock refused, leading to a match at SummerSlam between the two men, which The Rock would go on to win, defeating Roman Reigns in the main event of SummerSlam Night 1. And we go on, the Roman Reigns staying away, nursing his wounds perhaps, whilst The Rock had to face challenges from the other Bloodline members. He would face Jacob Fatu at Halloween Havoc, defeating him. The Usos would attack him, but John Cena would make the save, leading to Survivor Series, a tag team match, the Usos versus John Cena and The Rock. John Cena and The Rock reunited as a team 10 years after the first time they teamed and coming out victorious. Now The Rock would go away and Cena would stay, but whilst Reigns would return, setting his eyes on John Cena for aligning with The Rock, the two men fighting at Armageddon with Roman Reigns coming out on top. And having dealt with John Cena and with The Rock away, Roman Reigns set his sights back on World Championship glory, entering the Rumble, but The Rock's music provided a distraction for Reed to eliminate him, as Roman Reigns was not happy. The Rock issued his challenge for WrestleMania. The Rock versus Roman Reigns, the loser must acknowledge the winner, but Roman Reigns refused, setting his sights on Bronson Reed, the man who eliminated him. At Judgment Day, the two men fought, and The Rock would interfere, costing Reigns the match and leading to Reed's victory. And eventually Reigns had had enough. The challenge was set again, and the challenge was accepted. WrestleMania 38, Roman Reigns, The Rock. The winner will be acknowledged as the 1-2 tribal chief of the family. Will it be Roman Reigns or will it be The Rock? We will have to wait and see. An absolutely massive match between those two guys. As then we head into another big match for the Women's World Championship. Sasha Banks versus Io Shirai in an absolute dream match, which first takes us back to WrestleMania 37. For the women's tag team titles, Sasha Banks and Bayley defending their gold against the Sky Pirates, Io Shirai and Kairi Sane. And Io Shirai and Kairi Sane coming out on top, Io Shirai pinning Bayley. So Io Shirai and Sasha Banks on opposite sides of the ring, and Io Shirai coming out on top. And they kind of stayed away from each other, really. As we get to Extreme Rules and Sasha Banks defeats Ember Moon to win the Women's World title. Sasha Banks showing a darker, eviler side of her once again, having a reign of dominance, beating Alexa Bliss, beating Zoe Stark, beating Bayley, beating whoever stepped up to her. Sasha Banks declaring herself the blueprint, the best and the boss and the head of WWE. Io Shirai would have a great time of things in the Royal Rumble, making it to the final two before being eliminated by Ronda Rousey, coming so close to earning her match at Mania, but she would have to wait a little longer, while Sasha Banks would avoid Io Shirai as best as possible, instead challenging her tag partner Kairi Sane, who she defeated at Judgment Day. But then we get to the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, where Io Shirai eventually also pinned her former partner Kairi Sane in the Elimination Chamber match to earn this. Sasha Banks and Io Shirai at WrestleMania for the Women's World title. Banks continued to trash talk Io Shirai over the weeks leading into Mania, but Io Shirai taking no part of it, making it clear she was focused on one thing, saying that the only thing that mattered at WrestleMania, I beat you. Can she live up to those words and win the Women's World title? We'll have to wait and see, but I am expecting a match that could absolutely steal the whole WrestleMania weekend between these two superstars. As finally we get down to the main event of WrestleMania 38. These two men will main event the whole thing. They will close the whole thing. And what a better match than a feud between these two former partners, Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. Now, the Undisputed Era formed in NXT way back when, but they finally made it up to the main roster on SmackDown in August of 2020. Debuting and attacking the Universal Champion Otis, but before 4 weeks later, Adam Cole would take on Otis and defeat him to win the Universal Championship. An immediate impact from Adam Cole, whilst the Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish would go on to win the SmackDown Tag titles very quickly after. Then we get to WrestleMania 37, a bad night for the Undisputed Era, with O'Reilly and Fish losing the SmackDown Tag titles to Kingston and Woods, and with Adam Cole losing the Universal Championship to Big E, and Yui taking a little time off before returning to Monday Night Raw. And Kyle O'Reilly answered the United States Open Challenge and won the United States title. Adam Cole would go on to win the Money in the Bank ladder match, giving him a guaranteed world title match whenever the hell he damn well pleased. And the Undisputed Era would continue to do well in these special matches, Kyle O'Reilly getting to the final of the King of the Ring tournament, but being defeated by Angel Garza in the end. As we get to SummerSlam, whilst Kyle O'Reilly had the big one of the biggest wins in his career, retaining the United States title in a ladder match against Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and The Miz, Adam Cole would cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase to end SummerSlam, walking out as the WWE Champion, having cashed in on Angel Garza following that earlier mentioned attack by Edge. Whilst Kyle would go on to lose the United States title at Survivor Series to Kevin Owens, Adam Cole kept his WWE Championship going. As we get to Armageddon, where a War Games match was needed, the Undisputed Era against Daniel Bryan, Montez Ford, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn, and the Undisputed Era coming out on top, the War Games specialist getting the win, with Kyle O'Reilly getting the pin for them. as we get towards the Royal Rumble in the new year, where Adam Cole volunteered Kyle O'Reilly to be number 1 in the Rumble. Kyle not happy, but Kyle going ahead with it anyway. And in the end, Kyle winning the Royal Rumble match. From number 1 to number 30, he outlasted everyone and he won the whole damn thing, earning himself a world title match at WrestleMania against whoever he wanted. And at Judgment Day, he made it very clear, revealing a shirt saying F, I'm not going to swear, F Adam Cole, bitch. Kyle O'Reilly attacking Adam Cole. The Undisputed Era torn to pieces at Elimination Chamber match. We'd have the Undisputed Era little tag. Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish against Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. Adam Cole and Roderick Strong coming out on top. And now we have this. The main event of WrestleMania 38. Former best friends, now bitter rivals. The WWE title on the line. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly. Who will come out on top and who will walk out of WrestleMania with wrestling's greatest prize? Can Kyle O'Reilly finally do it? Finally climb to the top of the mountain and prove he is good enough to be world champ? Or Adam Cole prove what he says he will prove? That Kyle O'Reilly just isn't good enough. We will have to wait and see. As you can see, just from these 8 matches alone, an absolutely stacked card and so many other amazing matches to see. If you do not know the full match card, go check out the official match card video on the channel. I'll leave a link on the screen if I remember, and if not, it'll be in the description. But that is all for today. I hope you have enjoyed WrestleMania 38, a matter of days away on the Saturday, on the Sunday. The time cards will show now what time they're on. Just to give you an idea, those are also in the official match card video though, if you've gone and checked that out. That is it for today though. I hope you've enjoyed and I hope you're looking forward to WrestleMania. If you are, then please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel to see when those WrestleMania 38 videos drop. And as always, I just want to say thank you for watching.